Erev Tov, Rabotai. Last week we were talking a little about what happened between the exchange that there was between Rav Ashe and Menashe, who came to him in a dream. So we didn't get a chance to finish everything there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till everybody stops talking because I can't do the class like that.
That's the best way, man.
Yeah, we gotta wait. We gotta wait for that.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay, so let's continue. As we said, something interesting happened over there. That when they had this discussion about this halakha that he taught him, Melech Menashe, to Rav Ashe, so Rav Ashe asked him a question, he says, after he finished this whole discussion with him about the halakha, about the bread, he told him, he says, if you're such a knowledgeable person, such a big Talmid Chacham, I'm your Talmid, you're right. So he says, then why did you go to do Avodah Zarah? Why did you do that? What made you do such a crazy thing like that? To do Avodah Zarah? If you're such a big Chacham? So he answered him like this, Melech Menashe. He told him, he says, what do you think? He says, if you were in my generation, when I was alive, you would have picked up your skirt and ran to the Beit Avodah Zarah, to the church, to do Avodah Zarah. Faster than me even. That's what he told him, right? So what did he mean by this? How did he know Melech Menashe? Maybe you can go, if you want to speak, you can go outside. Maybe you can go outside if you want to speak. Thank you. I appreciate that because otherwise I can't give the class.
No problem.
Thank you. So anyway, as we said, okay. So as we said, he asked him like this and he answered him. He says, you would have been the first one to run to do Avodah Zarah. So why is that? What's the reason for this? How did he know also that Rav Ashe would go to run to do Avodah Zarah if he was in his generation? So the answer is also coming from the same Gemara there, Masechet Sanhedrin. It says over there that what happened was that the Chachamim, after the first temple was destroyed, they saw what the Khurban did to Am Yisrael. Everything was destroyed, nothing was left. It was a big destruction, it was a big disaster. So the Chachamim said, what caused all this? What was the reason why we went to the Galut like this, the Khurban and everything? What's the reason? So they decided, after looking at it, they said it's very simple. It's because of the Avodah Zarah. People were doing Avodah Zarah. This is the reason why we went to Galut. This was the biggest problem that they had. So the question is, what caused this, Do you see, by the way, today, Jews going to do Avodah Zarah like this, running to the church? There are some Jews who are in church. It's true. There are many. But the thing is, the Yetzer Hara is not so big today like this for Avodah Zarah. We don't see people going crazy for Avodah Zarah like they were in those days. So what happened? What changed? This is the question that you have to ask, about this. So the Gemara says over there, the answer is like this, Hashem made a very big Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah during the first temple. So what happened was, that the Yetzer Hara was so big that even a tzaddik, was tempted to do Avodah Zarah. It was very hard for him to stop. It was very hard for him to control himself. You had to be a very, very big tzaddik, very special tzaddik to control yourself from Avodah Zarah. This was the reason why this happened. So what happened was that the rabbis saw this, I'll tell you how it was. In those days, when a person would do Avodah Zarah, he would get a lot of pleasure from this, a lot of comfort. Why? Because he feels like, that he has no sins, he's forgiven, he doesn't have to be punished for his sins. Everything is good, he's forgiven. No problem, everything is good. This gives him a lot of comfort, that he's attached to his Avodah Zarah. He thinks that he's forgiven for everything.
Right.
So this is the reason why he felt so good. But the thing is, it's all sheker, it's not emet. But the thing is, that the pleasure was so great to have this feeling. The pleasure was so great that they couldn't control themselves, people, Yetzer Hara was too big in Avodah Zarah. It was too great. So what happened was, that the rabbis saw that this is what destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, the first temple. the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah. You know? So they realized, what can we do? You know, they thought about this. What can we do, you know, to stop this problem? How can we, you know, that it shouldn't happen to us again, something like this. So what did they do? What did they do? You know what they did? They went to pray, you know, they said tefillot to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They prayed. And you know what they prayed to him? They said to Hashem, please, you know, take away from this, take from this Yetzer Hara, take it away from us. We can't handle it. It's too much for us, too much. You know, this Yetzer Hara is too big. You see, you said you gave it to us. What's the reason why you gave us the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah? The reason you gave us is because we should keep it and get rewarded, right? Great reward. So they told them, they said, we don't want the reward, we don't want the test, we don't want nothing. Forget about it. Just cancel it. Take away this Yetzer Hara. You know? This is what they pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says in the Gemara Sanhedrin. This is a Gemara over there, same Gemara. So what happened was that Hashem listened to them, you know? Oh, he listened to them. So he took away the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah. You know, there's a whole discussion over there, how this happened. You know, there was a whole thing that happened, a very dramatic, you know, scene that happened. Yetzer Hara went away for Avodah Zarah. So, you know, now they were happy, the Chachamim, you know, they said, wow, oh, Chazak Baruch, we got rid of the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah. So he said, you know what, if it's Et Ratzon, Hashem is listening to us now, let's try another one, you know, maybe we can also do more. So, you know what they said, right? They said, you know what, let's take away also the Yetzer Hara for Gilui Arayot. You know, this is also a big problem, you know what I mean? As it says in the Chazal, right? That what? The three sins destroyed the Bet HaMikdash, the first one. Avodah Zarah, Gilui Arayot, and Shfichut Damim, right? Murder also, right? All these three things. They said, you know what, let's also try Gilui Arayot. You know, there shouldn't be any more Yetzer Hara for this also. Let's try that too. So they prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know, let's go now. We're on a roll, right? We're rolling now. Give us another one. Yalla. Take away this Yetzer Hara. So what happened was that Hashem listened to them. You know? Can you imagine? They had big power, these Chachamim. Whatever Hashem told them, he did. You know? That's what the Chazal say, right? Tzaddik gozer, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu mekayem. The Tzaddik decrees, Hashem fulfills his decree. That's what it says, you know? This is what happened. So they took away the Yetzer Hara for Gilui Arayot. So what happened, right? They were looking around the Chachamim to see, you know, how does this affect the world? You know, what's going on over here? So you know what happened? What they saw was that nobody was having children anymore. You know?
Chicken stops giving this.
That's it, right? You know the story, right? Because this all comes from the Yetzer Hara for Gilui Arayot. You know, if you don't have the Yetzer Hara for this, you're not going to have any children anymore. That's it, finished. There's no more procreation. So therefore, you know, Chazal saw, you know, that without this Yetzer Hara, the world cannot exist like that, you know? No, there's no way to continue. Like yeah, so what happened was they said to Hashem, you know what, we went a little bit too far. You know, let's backtrack a little bit, right? Step back a little bit. So what they did was like this, you know, they said to Hashem, you know what, let's keep the Yetzer Hara for Gilui Arayot. We have to keep that. There's no other way for the world to exist. But they said, you know what, let's take it away for certain things, you know, only. So what things they take it away? That a person doesn't have Yetzer Hara to have Gilui Arayot with his family, you know, his mother, his sister, you know, his daughter. No, there's no Yetzer Hara like this.
Incest.
Right, exactly, incest, yeah. That's it, you know. So they said, you know what, let's take that away. So that's why, you know, today, you don't see anybody, you know, who's thinking about being, you know, having relations with his mother, you know, or his daughter, right? Nobody wants this. Why? Because there's no Yetzer Hara for this. There's no. The Chachamim took it away. I mean, in the old days, in the first temple, there was Yetzer Hara also for this. You know, there was Yetzer Hara. That's why, you know, some of these kings, some of these melachim, they were having relations with their sister, you know, things like this. They were doing things like this.
It was a law by certain stuff.
You know what I mean? So they took it away, and this is how it got left, you know. There is Yetzer Hara for Gilui Arayot, but not for family, for incest, like you said. They took away that Yetzer Hara. So what happens now, right? That's why the halacha says, there's a halacha like this, that if a person, you know, wants to sleep in the same bed with his mother, is he allowed to sleep with his mother?
No.
He is allowed. Why? Because there's no Yetzer Hara. You know, what are you gonna do? Something with your mother? Lo aleinu. Right? You're not gonna do nothing like that. So therefore, there's no prohibition to sleep with your mother or to sleep with your daughter also in the same bed. There's no prohibition. You know, because there's no Yetzer Hara for this. You know, nobody does these things. You know, that, why? Because nobody wants it. That's the whole thing, you know. So therefore, it changed the halakha also. This thing, you know, everything now got changed. What about? Yeah, go ahead.
What about bchira chofshit? Like, what? What about the bchira chofshit?
Yeah, you can choose what you want. It's true. There's bechira. You can choose, but the Yetzer Hara is not there. You know what I mean?
But you're not, no, but you don't have the temptation to do it anymore.
Right, but the bechira there still is. You know, there's still choice. You can make a choice if you want. You
I'm
know?
not gonna go down.
If you want to be a bad person, you can still be bad. You know what I mean? But there's not so much temptation. Now here's the thing, right? What about brother and sister? You know, what about this? You know, so they took away this one. It's not so much like it used to be. You know this. So therefore, the halakha says, you know, are a brother and sister allowed to live together in one house alone? Are they allowed to live together? You know, so they say, you know, that they shouldn't live together. Why? Because there's still a little bit Yetzer Hara there. You know, so they can have yichud, like, you know, be secluded once in a while. You know, but not all the time, 100%. You know why? Because between sister and brother, there's still some Yetzer Hara. There's still a little bit there. You know, but when it comes to mother and son, right, and this, no Yetzer Hara. There's zero, nothing. You know, so you can sleep with her in the bed, you can stay with her, you can live with her. There's no Yetzer Hara for this. Nothing's going to happen.
Yetzer Hara always there.
You're not listening. Okay. So,
You don't have a desire.
right, that's it. There's no desire. What can I do? Right, that's the way it goes. Okay, so that's the story. You know that you understand me now. So this is what happened. You know when this was the meeting between Rav Ashe and Menashe. This is what happened.
What you said in the beginning about Avodah Zarah, what I heard is
Yeah.
the people used to do what we call it this name in English, I forgot, but they used to serve Elohim. Through Elohim they used to serve Hashem, and that it was called Avodah Zarah. But they was resultative because other people, Jewish people, saw they get a result. That's why they was probably starting also doing Avodah Zarah.
Now let me tell you something else here. Another thing that's very interesting. You know that even though the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah was taken away, but something came to replace that also. You know, something else came to replace that. What is that? You know what I'm talking about? Kfirah. You know, that a person can be kofer. You know? Apikoros. He can be kofer apikoros.
What is that?
Doesn't believe, you know, in the Torah, doesn't believe. Kofer, you know? Like we have today, you know, go to the Knesset, you're going to see a lot of them over there. In Israel over there, in Yerushalayim. There's plenty of them over there. Kofrim, you know? People like this.
Reformer?
Yeah, reform, yeah, even worse, sometimes, even worse than that. The point is, you know, that even though the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah was taken away, but now came the Yetzer Hara for Kfirah, you know, to being a kofir. And this is what happened, you know, the Beit Sheni, there wasn't really much Avodah Zarah, but there was Kfirah, Kofrim, you know, there was a lot of, you know, we had the Tzdokim, right? We had the Baitosim, you know, and all these.
Isim also. Isim.
Oh, okay, so there you go, right? So all these Kofrim, they sprung up, all this, also the Christians, you know, Notzrim. Also, Kofrim. Why? Because even though there was no Avodah Zarah, there was no Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah, but there was Yetzer Hara for Kfirah. So this Avodah Zarah, until this day we have this, you know, for Kfirah, Kofrim. There's many Kofrim all over the place. You know, they believe in this, they believe in that, right? There's also Karaim, you know, the ones, right? What's Karaim? You know what this is, right? There's somebody who only believes in Torah Shebichtav. Only the Chumash, you know, he believes. You know, Nevi'im. But doesn't believe in the Talmud, doesn't believe Torah Sheba'al Peh. Kofer. Person like this, he's Kofer.
I knew one guy like that. You know,
Yeah, they're still around. It's true, you know? So, now let me tell you one more thing, and then we'll stop here. Something interesting, right? What about the future? What's going to be in the future? So, we have to know that too, right? So in the end, what's going to be, it says Zohar Kadosh. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to take away the Yetzer Hara, you know, like almost everything.
Completely?
Almost completely, everything. He's going to leave only one thing. You know what it is? In order that people should be able to have children, a little bit Yetzer Hara, you know, for sexual relations. That's about it, you know? Everything else is going to take away. There's not going to be any more Yetzer Hara. Because without that, you cannot have children. There's no children, you understand? So he has to leave a little bit there. You understand? A little bit has to be left over. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Yeah, when Mashiach comes, yeah. That's the way it's going to be, you know? Eventually. Little by little, right? It's going to go like this. Little by little. So, What's going to be is, that the Yetzer Hara won't be around for most of the things that we have problems today.
So you're saying he's going to take the biggest mitzvah we have? Right now,
Yeah.
we are kind of screwing the neck of the Yetzer Hara and doing all this Avodah Zarah and everything else.
Right.
It's the biggest mitzvah.
Right.
Now, if he takes this, what are we going to work for?
That's the question, right? So the truth is, that once Olam Haba comes, this is not any time. There's no more reward anymore. There's no more mitzvot to do get reward, to get schar. So over there, it's going to be just to get the reward, from Hashem for all the mitzvot that we did in Olam Hazeh. That's what it's for. That's why it says in the Talmud, that it says in the future the mitzvot are going to be abolished. It's going to be batal, the mitzvot. Why? Because the only reason why we do mitzvot is because we want to get reward, schar, But once the Olam Haba, there is no schar, there's no mitzvot. So what do? What do they do over there? So Gemara says, right, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't do any of that stuff. So what do? They just sit in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and, learn from his Torah, from his Shekhinah.
Yeah,
That's Olam Haba, that's what it's all about.
You have to get to that point.
Yeah, of course, yeah, we all have to. We all have to get to that point. Understand? But this is the way it is, In the end, what's going to be is that no more mitzvot. So you have to do now the mitzvot. At that time. Do it now while you have a chance. Otherwise, it's too late. Same thing, right? It's going to be, they say, that we're not going to take converts anymore. No more gerim. When Mashiach comes. Why? Because there's no Yetzer Hara. There's no nothing. That's it, finished. No more gerim. No more mitzvot. Little by little, everything's going to be abolished. Little by little. It's going to take time, It's gradual.
But for Goyim, it's going to be more mitzvot because it's always for them to have past to go back.
So they at that time, it's not going to be mitzvah for them. You know what's going to be? What's going to be is that they're going to have to serve the Jews. They're going to be the abadim of the Jews. They're going to be eved.
Slave.
That's abadim. That's what it's going to be.
Slave.
What do you think? All the mitzvot that we did, all suffering that we did, now it's time to get reward. That's the way it is, So in Olam Haba, there's no more mitzvot, there's no more ishtadlut. That's it, finished. Now it's time to get reward for what you did, And then it goes higher, the spiritual level goes higher and higher and higher. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen. רבי חנן השומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.
Al Israel.